Hi, my name is Christine C and welcome back to my channel. Welcome to a new series on my channel, the Optometry Diaries. I'm so excited to take you guys with me as a guide for the future generation of optometrists as a pre-optometry student myself. In today's episode, I'll be introducing you guys to the OAT, or the Optometry Admissions Test, where I'll be answering questions like, what is the OAT? What are the sections of the OAT? What topics should I study for the OAT? And what does the OAT exam look like? I'll be partnering with OATBooster and sourcing information from the ASCO OAT Candidate Guide. This episode's going to be in two segments. The first segment will cover what is the OAT, and the second segment will cover what the OAT exam looks like. So for our first segment, what is the OAT? The OAT, or the Optometry Admissions Test, is a standardized computer-based test that is required by most optometry schools in the US and Canada. The OAT is a multiple choice test that consists of 6 subjects. These subjects include biology, general chemistry, organic chemistry, reading comprehension, physics, and quantitative reasoning. The OAT exam is scored on a scale of 200 to 400. This scoring includes the scoring of each individual subject, the total science score, and the academic average score. Now, the OAT exam can take about 4 to 6 hours. Here is a general timeline of the OAT exam sourced by the ASCO OAT Candidate Guide. Now let's go ahead and cover each subject of the OAT. First is the Survey of the Natural Sciences. The Survey of the Natural Sciences is grouped into 3 subjects: biology, general chemistry, and organic chemistry. This group section is about 90 minutes long and is worth 100 questions. The first portion of the section is the biology portion. The biology portion consists of 40 questions. The topics covered within the biology portion can include cellular and molecular biology, diversity of life, structures and functions of systems, genetics, and evolution, ecology, and behavior. The next portion of the Survey of the Natural Sciences is the general chemistry portion. The general chemistry portion consists of 30 questions. The topics covered within the general chemistry portion can include stoichiometry and general concepts, solids, liquids, and gases, solutions, acids, and bases, chemical equilibrium, thermodynamics, and thermochemistry, chemical kinetics and oxidation and reduction reactions, atomic and molecular structures and periodic properties, nuclear reactions, and general chemistry laboratory questions. Following the general chemistry portion is the organic chemistry portion of the Survey of the Natural Sciences. Similar to the general chemistry portion, the organic chemistry portion consists of 30 questions. The topics covered within the organic chemistry portion can include mechanisms, chemical and physical properties of molecules, stereochemistry and nomenclature, individual reactions of major functional groups, and combinations of reactions to synthesize compounds, acid-base chemistry, and aromatics and bonding. Now, this makes up the first section of the OAT, the Survey of the Natural Sciences. It's important to note that the individual subjects of the section do not have its own timing, so you have to go at your own pace. You have 90 minutes to complete all 3 subjects. Now, that concludes the first section of the OAT. Let's go on to reading comprehension. The reading comprehension section is 60 minutes long. There are 3 passages and 50 multiple choice questions related to each passage. Here, you will need to read, comprehend, and thoroughly analyze each passage. Alright, at this portion of the OAT, you have a scheduled break. Your scheduled break is 30 minutes long, where you have complete access to your belongings. This includes your electronics, your snack, and even your notes to study for the next section. Alright, now after your break, you begin the physics section. The physics section is 50 minutes long with 40 questions. The topics covered include units and vectors, linear kinematics, statics and dynamics, rotational motion, energy and momentum, simple harmonic motion, waves and fluid statics, thermal energy and thermodynamics, electrostatics, DC circuits, and optics. Lastly, your final section of the OAT is quantitative reasoning, or math. The quantitative reasoning section is 45 minutes long and consists of 40 questions. The topics covered within this section can include algebra, data analysis, interpretation and sufficiency, quantitative comparison, probability and statistics, and applied mathematics or word problems. Alright, so that wraps up your OAT exam. So for our second segment, what does the OAT exam look like? Here, I'll show you what a sample exam looks like through OATBooster. OATBooster, which by the way has 10 practice mock exams to practice and study with that simulates the actual OAT exam you take at the Prometric testing site. This is how the exam looks like. There's a blue stripe at the top and a blue stripe at the bottom. bottom, OAT Booster has 2 accommodated features. The first one is the prometric delay, similar to taking the exam at the prometric testing site, and second is additional time if approved by the ADA. Now we're gonna go ahead and hit start. These are how the questions are formatted on the OAT. As you can see on the top left corner, you could see what number you're on. On the top right corner, you could see how much time you have left. At the bottom left hand corner where it says previous, you can go back a question. In the middle where it says next, you could proceed to the next question. Right next to the mark button in the general chemistry and quantitative reasoning sections is the exhibit button. In the general chemistry section, the exhibit button shows a periodic table like this. And the exhibit button in the quantitative reasoning section shows an on-screen calculator like this. At the bottom right-hand corner where it says mark, you can mark the question and go back to the question later. At the bottom right-hand corner where it says review, you can go ahead and hit that button where it shows you a table of the questions and whether you marked it, completed it, or skipped it. At the bottom left-hand corner, there's 3 buttons. The first button says review marked, where you can go back to the questions you marked. The second button says review all, where you can go back to the beginning and review all of your questions. And the third button says review incomplete, where you can review the questions you left blank. Now this is what the multiple choice questions look like. When selecting your answer, you click the bubble, and in order to narrow down your answer choices, you can right click to eliminate answer choices. Now for scratch work for your OAT, you are provided 2 laminated sheets and 2 markers. I got this pack off Amazon, which I highly recommend when you're taking practice exams for your OAT. Now you are not allowed to erase on the laminated sheets. When taking your OAT exam, you inform your proctor that your laminated sheet has been filled, and then they go ahead and switch your laminated sheet out for a new one. And that is what they provide you for scratch work on your OAT. Alright, so that wraps up today's episode on what is the OAT. If you're learning about the OAT, planning to study for the OAT, studying for the OAT, or your OAT exam is tomorrow, just wanted to let you guys know that you guys got this. The OAT is one step closer to achieving your future career goals. Thank you so much to OAT Booster for being such a phenomenal program that's helped me tremendously throughout my OAT journey. I love to continue bringing you guys along with me by continuing to create more videos in the Optometry Diaries series. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and thanks for watching. Bye!